Welcome to Avira Digital's podcast series, which focuses on redefining medical affairs and integrated evidence planning through digitization and AI. Today, we have Varun Nagpal, who's a regional medical director at Merck for lung cancer, and he's worked in SI in the past with the lung cancer, and he has wealth of knowledge on oncology and passionate about leveraging the AI advanced analytics to improve the patient's outcome. Varun, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Sanjeev, for having me here. Hello, everyone. I'm Varun Nagpal. I'm a U.S. Regional Medical Director in Global Medical Affairs Organization at Merck, supporting lung cancer or thoracic malignancies. Look forward to the discussion.
Thank you. So, Varun, let's start with your phenomenal experience and the background in lung cancer oncology area, right? My question is, how do you see a digitization or advancement in evidence management, treatments, and managements of lung cancer over the last few years? What's the role of digitization into this process for what you do today?
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeev. That's an excellent question. So, medical affairs as a whole is advancing in multiple facets, right? You see, the data is very complex now. There's a lot of wealth of data now that is available, and then analyzing that data, then putting it to actions. There's a lot of components that goes in medical affairs: content creation, discussion, getting the data, also having exchange. So multiple facets, as I said. Digitization is a tool, right? And we have had that from a while, but not to this level with the advances that have been made recently with Gen AI and other technologies. So this tool is helping us getting the complex data in a form that can be digested easily, acted on easily, is more actionable, and can be quantified more easily. So there are multiple parts that digitization is helping, and it's also about learning, right? So some external stakeholders, internal stakeholders digest the data in a different way. Some are visual learners, some are readers, some are listeners. Digitization is helping with all aspects. You have more advanced technologies to have a better impression on the stakeholders. So those are the parts that is helping a lot.
And we're all going through a advancement in digitization. Then the data explosion happening in our medical affairs. And I know you've been working in the medical affairs for a number of years. What are the major changes which you feel within your organization or as an industry around the medical affairs with this advancement of digital and advancement of data now with Gen AI coming together?
Exactly, Sanjeev. So medical affairs has transformed in last 10, 15 years specifically, and especially during COVID time, it accelerated. We had to use digital platforms to communicate. We had to use digital tools to even work together. But apart from that, with the new data that is coming in, now, especially oncology, it has always been complex, but now it's way more complex than before. If you look at one disease state, it's a crowded landscape. Now, within crowded landscape, you are seeing more and more combinations of drugs being combined together, and you are seeing how the studies are being done. There are different tools to do studies as well. There are adaptive trials. There is phase one, phase two, phase three that has always been there, but the complexity has increased. Now the data that comes out, it comes out in a different formats as well. You seeing big conferences having digital only data releases versus in person. So there's a lot of that happening on the background. So with complex data, with complex combinations, and the medical affairs has to pivot. We are at the forefront of communicating that data. We are at the forefront of generating new data. So we have to use all the technologies that are available to us to enhance our effectiveness. So I think that those are the major aspects where you have seen the major outcome of new tools. And I think with medical affairs, as you said, it's now complex, but I think in next 5, 10 years, it's going to be totally different.
Absolutely. In the last 1 year, I don't know how many times we heard Gen AI as a potential completely revolutionize the way medical affairs team will operate and engage with the various stakeholders.
Exactly.
Maybe any compelling stories or a case study or a use case which we can even show the tangible improvement or demonstrate the tangible improvements within the Gen AI use cases which you came across the industry?
Yeah, I think Sajeev, in the total industries has started to use. Some companies are at the basic level right now. Some a little bit more in taking the lead on that. Some have just taken a full control of it, right? So there is a lot of use cases that have been utilized. For example, if you go to medical affair conferences, if you attend other, you'll see that too. Starting from field medical, where There is a lot of engagement with HCPs. Now, how the data is collected, how it is presented to them, they all utilize some form of Gen AI. It's about personalization. It's not about spitting the data out to inform you. Gen AI has the capability to know what do you need to see. So now the field medical has more knowledge how this HCP will need to digest the data, what data type he's interested in, what information is he sharing on social media, what information are they utilizing, what is the need, what is the unmet need for the specific individual.
Absolutely.
So I think that's number one. That's where we all can use that information to engage.
Right.
Now, how do we collect insights? That's number two. We collect the insights in a very different form now. And then how do we record it? And also creating more quantifiable reports, more data is so important. You're going to have thousands of data points, right?
Yeah,
How do you actually analyze it? You don't want to manually sit through it and then actually on a subjective way analyze this, right? So
absolutely.
you want an objective way, but you want a consistent. You also want to see track changes, what's going on over time. If you are one person or few people, you are tracking that over time. In 6 months, 9 months, how much information would you remember? You'll
Yeah,
have to depend on
absolutely.
your memory. You would have to depend on the reports that were generated, and every time it's not that efficient. So Gen AI can help you with that. Can create the reports. You want a bigger summary or a smaller summary. You want a 5 minute summary. You want
Absolutely.
a visual summary. You can do all of that. Publications, right, is another aspect. So you have publications. How do we crystallize the main crux that we want to hear? How do we communicate to the real world, right? The real world is a whole different world, which is a little different than clinical world. So all that world also you need to use Gen AI. What data points can be collected from there, right? And then data gaps. Identify new data gaps where you basically summarizing, but in a way it's effective. So you collect the data gaps, you analyze them, and then how can you actually form a new study can be done by Gen AI. So there are multiple aspects.
No, you rightly said medical affairs use the word insights. Obviously, they need to gather the insights for better informed medical strategy, whether it's a product development, launch strategies, congress planning, and various aspects of development to commercialization phases, right? What we have seen in the traditional relies on surveys, the market research, advisory boards, and that's not going to go away. But what is complementing that with now social media analytics, which has a tremendous opportunity to identify the newer digital opinion leaders to inform the engagement, the launch strategies, capturing the HCP sentiments, right? So, what's your point of view on this overall social media analysis or insights from traditional ways of doing it into the new ways of doing it? If any of point of view, which you can highlight.
Good question again. I think we need to see what is the real need. What are the data gaps as medical affairs? We need to understand how is the data being digested. We need to analyze so many points. So social media is one big component of it now. It was smaller before, but it is even bigger now. Social media, I think, is very influential because it's not catering one region, it's catering the whole world. And around the conferences, that becomes really huge because the new data comes out, we see the reactions from multiple studies, not just ours, from all around the world. We see the reactions from top thought leaders, right? Top HCPs, everyone really, how they think of the data. And in a way, we have not communicated with them. In a way, we may not have talked to them at that point, but we are still understanding the data points. We're still understanding the gaps. We're still understanding the strength of data. The need still exists. So there are so many parts that we can gather to increase overall effectiveness. So it's a complement to what we were already doing. It's not to replace, but it is going to even enhance further education. It's going to enhance a lot more in terms of outcomes. It will speed up things a lot because everyone can see it. It is not now one group showing this is the
Absolutely.
challenge, but in a way it's also a tool to flag something. If there is some big issue going on, it will come to light very soon. So all those parts are important, and it has also the engagement to change the landscape very quickly. There are some HCPs who would not be able to attend conferences. Some are international, some are in the US. They may not have gone, but they may have heard it from others, or they would gather the insight later on. But they may be on social media looking at it. Okay, I need to track these 5 datas.
Yeah.
That's my whole conference. So you can just tell the impact from there of social media.
Perfect. I think excellent insight. Now, we talked about the digitization, we talked about data, we talked about GenAI and the future of social media, social listening analysis. What's your personal point of view where you see a completely medical affairs? And maybe you can even speak about lung cancer, oncology related areas. How it transformed from all this technology?
I think overall the new tools have impacted generally in a good way. We just have a lot more information in our hands. We have a lot more tools in our hands to act upon, and it has just made it so easy for medical affairs to demonstrate the impact. Right. Nowadays, some launches can be just digital. We have stopped the monotonous, the time consuming part of the clinical trials. Now, because of digital tools, the studies are faster. We don't have to go to California to meet a person or dial in on a phone. Just simple, effective conversation via digital tools has just made it so easy. It is close to real conversation. The way we do ad boards, the way we do roundtables, the way we do other types of meetings, congresses, internal education trainings, we don't have to fly out, we don't have to wait for others to come in.
Yeah.
We are able to do it faster in an effective way. It's recorded, they can listen to it later on.
Absolutely.
There's so many aspects. This is such a small thing to do, but the impact is huge. The same way the lung cancer has become so complex, and with all these tools, things have become easier and faster. So I think overall that's the case. But I just want to touch upon every use case is different, right?
Yeah.
There are drugs which are in a late phase. There are drugs which are life cycle management type of situation. There are combinations that are coming. There are new formulations that are coming in. There is also a patient centric component that has been enhanced. You now see the diversity inclusion in clinical trials, and this is a big campaigns from social media, from our advocacy groups. Those things have just exploded. So the way the protocols are written, the way they are amended, the way the new combinations are going to be beyond is going to use Gen AI. Even when you make new drugs, they are going to be AI powered. The new targets identification, that is going to be AI powered. They will scroll through millions of combinations and be able to spit out data to make target for new drugs. The new design of drugs is going to be AI generated. So all these components will surely enhance our effectiveness.
Varun, there's a lot to learn. And first of all, thank you so much for participating and giving your perspective on how companies are, as an industry, we are all redefining their overall digital strategies and the Gen AI, as you mentioned, impact of all those initiatives. And medical affairs is actually really partnering with healthcare system throughout the process, and maybe Gen AI or overall will play a role in this. So thank you so much, and we learned a lot. And how your organization can partner with Avira Digital in overall medical planning, end-to-end integrated evidence planning, measuring the impact of evidences or social media analytics and digital in overall medical affairs area. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you very much.